Hey y'all, welcome in, welcome in.
Hey, how are you?
Hey Johnzelle, very punctual. Look at you.
I try.
How are you doing?
How am I doing?
Yes.
So the book has been out 6 days. It'll be a week tomorrow.
hmm
Um, and very grateful, I think is how I'm doing. Tired, but grateful.
That's
So,
expected. That's
mm,
expected. I just
yeah.
want to point out a couple of things. I don't
Okay.
know if you can see, but I got the green lights in the
Hey.
back. Okay.
Okay.
I got on my dark green shirts. I got a
Okay.
little green eyeliner for
I see
you.
that. Thank you.
That's
Is
for
the wall
you.
screen in your house too, or is it the light?
The what?
Are the walls green too, or is it the
That's
light?
the light. The light. I have like a
Nice. It's almost like you matched my actual green walls.
That's what I was trying to do. I was like, I
Yeah,
know
you
he's
did a
gonna
great
come with
job.
the vibes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to match your vibes. So we are here for the release room because you have just that, a new release. And so if you guys are joining us, please drop down in the comments where are you joining us from, and let us know. Let us know where you're joining us from. So if you're new here, I'm Denisha Davis, and I am the host and curator of the Release Room. So this is a space where we don't just talk about books, but we
Hmm.
talk about the story behind the story. So this series was created because I truly believe that I was made for this space, first of all. I
Mm.
love connecting readers with authors. I think it's fascinating. Just imagine, like, back in the day, this wouldn't happen. Like, we couldn't really get to authors like we want to. So because we're in this era, I think it's so important and I love it. And so I want to share this platform and this healing and the hustle behind new releases, because I know it's a lot that goes on in the background and we're just seeing like that finished product, but I know there's a lot that happens to keep that machine going. So this is not just a review. This is going to be a real conversation. So if you love discovering new books, supporting authors, and being a part of a meaningful bookish dialogue, then make sure you continue to follow me and turn on those notifications, okay? Because tonight we are stepping into the release room, and I have with me a Black male therapist, a girl dad, and a fellow VA native, Johnzelle Anderson. And we are talking about his debut novel, Mixtape, a memoir. So make sure y'all get comfortable. Let us know where you guys are watching. There it is. Let us know where you guys are watching from. And let's welcome Johnzelle to the release room. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Okay, let's
Speaking
not
of girl
delay.
dad, my daughter was asleep and I guess she woke up from a nightmare or something, so you might hear her a little bit. That's why I ran away and came back. But
Do you need to go check on her?
I just did. If you give me like 2 minutes, I'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll chat in the comments.
Okay.
Okay, PA is in the house. Yes, yes. Okay, we got Danville, VA, two up, two down. Yep, yep. Okay, who else? Where are you guys joining us from? We have Johnzelle Anderson with us talking about his new release, a mixtape, a memoir. I read it like a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, I was like, I'm gonna get into this book, but I really got into this book, and I was shocking myself. So many parallels, and you guys are going to see. I couldn't believe how much we have in common. So I'm very excited to talk to him and to get some insight into the mixtape, a memoir, a therapist, a girl dad, and a storyteller. And it's almost hard to believe that this is his first novel, because I'm like, the words are wordy. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so first I want to ask, what inspired you to write a memoir?
So you're just gonna hear my daughter whining a little bit. I tried to calm
Is
her
she
down.
gonna
I'm
be
not.
okay? Is she
She's
gonna be
fine.
okay?
I'm not really sure what is upsetting her, but anyway, that's part of being a parent, right? Is you
Absolutely.
try to do something and it's their world and we're just living in it. But to
It's
answer your
inevitable.
question,
I was just helping my son. I was trying to, do my last minute preparing, and he's talking about myself. I need you to help me with this extra credit, sir. What? But that's part of the job.
so to
Okay, so my
answer
first.
so to answer your question, what inspired me to write a memoir? Um, I when I was younger, I imagined that maybe someday I would write a book.
Okay.
And I thought, well, maybe if I have something meaningful to write about. And
Mm,
I've been a therapist over a decade now.
okay.
And when, I do therapy sessions and I use storytelling as a way to kind of connect with my clients to build rapport.
Hmm.
And then naturally, like I've been through some stuff, so I might share an anecdote about something, and uh, you know, sorry, I'm a little distracted by my
I
daughter.
know. I know. Should we? What do you want to do? You want to pick up? You want to go check on it and pick back up?
Um, let me see if it. Let me go check her on her one more time, and then I'll be right
Okay.
back. Sorry.
I can talk. Okay, so, and as I was reading the book, like I said, there were so many things that we I could relate to. First of all, he's from Virginia. I'm from Virginia. He loves Beyonce. I mean, I love Beyonce. And, he is one that I enjoyed hearing about how seriously he took mental health. And just really, he really went there. It was almost inspirational because I think sometimes on the internet we have a tendency to, we're not gonna do too much. I want to get in there, but I want to go too deep. But Johnzelle, he really went in there. And yes, LB, that track list was amazing. And we'll get into, how he created that and how that's structured. But he has a banging track list that it's no skips. It's no skips. You can play it straight through. And I love how, did they have track lists back in the day? Because I don't recall. Sister Soldier ain't had no track list to go with the coldest winter ever, did she? I don't think so.
Okay, I think
Okay.
she's calmed down now. Sorry about that.
I hope so. Oh, baby
Yes, I
girl,
heard
what's it happen?
she. I don't know. She wanted to make a cameo, so um,
And that's fine.
yeah.
MJ.
Yes. So I heard a couple of things, and I'll finish answering your question. So I always thought, okay, someday maybe it'll be a goal of mine to write a book. But I've been creatively writing since about 2012, and I read a lot. My favorite memoir, or my favorite genre to read, is memoir. So I love that genre of book because I get to spend time with someone that I probably will never get to meet.
Right, yeah.
Um, look behind me here. Let's see who I got. So we got Brittany Griner, we got Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay.
Um, let's see. I don't have a ton of memoirs behind me. I have Akamia Deadweiler's. She's a good friend of mine. So I have a handful of memoirs here, but you know, I'm never going to probably meet Whoopi Goldberg and talk to her about her life, But
Right.
uh, you get to spend time with somebody and they're sharing their story with you.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I didn't think that, because I'm 33, at the time I started writing this, I was maybe 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I had lived enough to have anything to say. But then I saw, one of my favorite memoirs is like Trevor Noah's Born a Crime.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Ooh,
and
that's really good.
more people around my age are writing memoirs, and it's not so much about like you have to have enough to talk about. It's that um, are you brave enough to tell your story? And so
Yes,
as a
yes.
therapist, I'll share anecdotes like, someone's talking about maybe the trauma from an absentee father or, um, an experience growing up mixed race or going through some sort of, abuse or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to make it about me, but
Right.
sometimes clients will feel like they're not so much to say that they're not unique, but that they're alone in what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to bring down the veil between, because they think of me as, they may be like, oh, well, you're a therapist, so you are
Got it all
healed,
together.
or,
You all together.
and I'm like, I'm one bad day from being in the damn Grippy Sock Hotel myself. And so as I've, shared little anecdotes here and there, my clients keep saying, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. People need to know your backstory. And what I'll say is I wrote this book, I was married at the time that I finished it, and when my ex read it, it was almost like she didn't know who I was, because not like I was pretending to be something I wasn't, but
Right.
like it was the first time that it was a complete exploration of uh, who I am, who I was, and the evolution. Um, and through the editing process and things like that, what I realized was it wasn't that I needed to be a certain age to have something to say. It was to be brave enough to go through the process.
Yes.
So that's
And
why I had to write
brave.
a memoir.
I was just telling the people, like, you really, really go there. And it was to the point where I was like looking around like, did he really write that in there? Oh, okay. But I don't want to get ahead. Now, how do you how does being a therapist, a girl dad, and a storyteller, how does it actually show up in your writing? Or is it more so you kind of focus on Johnzelle as the man and that's what your writing is based off of?
So one thing that I can honestly say is that I've never, well, I can't say never. Currently, I don't sit in one lane as my whole identity.
Right.
Uh, I'm not just a therapist. I'm not just Maya Jane's dad. I'm not just a, uh, now boyfriend. I'm not just a, you know, business owner or anything. I'm holistic. I am a lot of things that I can say that I am in myriad other things. So I don't get stuck. I don't feel like I have to compete
Mm-hmm.
between like, because for example, um, if I'm in a relationship and something happens, a text conversation can become a poem. Uh, it, a milestone that my daughter makes can become an idea for a children's book.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, Going through a divorce can become something that resonates with the clients I see for therapy.
I
Uh,
agree.
and, even now being like a single dad, and, like you just saw, I'm doing this, but she's crying, let me go run, and, there's nobody to help me. So I pause what I'm doing and go do that, but I'm still a storyteller,
Absolutely.
right? I'm still present. So I don't think that they compete. It's just part of this person I've evolved into, where it's not like I wear multiple hats or I'm trying to be everything all at once. It's just um, this is who I've become, and I'm trying to be present in those different spaces because a few years ago I just determined myself as a therapist storyteller because I'm telling stories, my clients are telling me stories, I'm writing stories, I'm reading stories, whether it's on the clock, off the clock. So stories are everything. So that's kind of how I've gotten to the space that I'm at.
Yeah, I think it could be therapeutic as well when you just kind of you have all these different hats that you're wearing and you just kind of like, oh, it's like put something down to kind of like decompress and like kind of get back to you. But speaking of putting something down, being the storyteller, why the title Mixtape, a memoir? Can you talk to us a little bit about how you came to that name?
So when I wanted to tell a story, this has been since before I was ever writing, essays or anything. Since a young age, I imagined that I was crafting the soundtrack of my life. Like I'd walk the halls in elementary school. I'd say I needed to go get a drink of water. I didn't need a drink of water, but I wanted to get out. So I'm walking down the hall and I have a song playing in my head, right? I'm thinking of, okay, I'm going around this corner. What's the dramatic like song that's playing as I make my appearance around the corner? Um, and there's always music playing in my head, whether it's in my mind or I have, these headphones on or my Bluetooth speaker going. I'm always immersed in that. So when I went to go tell my story, I thought, I want a I want a soundtrack. And when you create a mixtape for somebody, it's usually meaningful. Like there's little pieces that resonate. Um,
Right, like back in the
and
day, I remember.
hmm yeah, and so I wanted to do that with my own story. So sometimes the music is literal, like you can really know, oh, he chose Mary J. Blige's "My Life," like he was going through it right there, so that fits, right? Whereas like later on, I have "Same Hands" by Bia featuring Lil Durk, and you might be like crushing up the drugs with the same hands that I fix to pray with. What is he talking about? Is he a drug? And I'm not. But there's a line in there. I don't judge nobody because I sin to. If I see you win and then I win too. And I like that. So you hear this whole song and you might be like, I'm not really
Where we
sure
going?
what's going on here, but to me that meant something and I like that. So unfortunately I wasn't able to keep the quotes in the book because of
Yeah.
copyright, but I was able to do like a series where I explained each day what each track was on my it's like highlighted on Instagram.
Oh
But
yeah, you definitely have to check that out. I haven't
mhm.
made my way all the way through, but it was really. Do you recommend people do that before they read the book or after?
um Either way, I mean,
Yeah.
with the way that the interior design was done, I mean, obviously the QR codes to the playlist are in the front of the book, so you can like
Hmm.
have it on your phone or whatever. And you don't have to follow the playlist along if you don't want to, but at the beginning of each track, you're going to see a little cassette tape with the song.
Oh
And it kind of
yes.
invites you to be like, okay, well, before I get into this one, because you probably finished the last chapter and you're like, okay. So he was
Yes.
going through it, or it ended on because sometimes it's like it ends on a happy note, and sometimes it's like,
Yeah, like
what,
what else, Johnzelle? What
yeah,
else?
yeah. And so I think the pausing to listen to the song is almost like like taking a beat, but then it's almost like getting yourself focused of, okay, what's the energy here? And then you go in and you're seeing more. So I didn't want it to be so literal. And I'm
Mhm.
actually, in the hindsight, I'm kind of glad that the quotes had to be taken out because then it allowed that
Okay.
creative element of you see these cassette
Right.
tapes and it gives a little bit more invitation to the reader to kind of assess what the vibe might be. It's just kind of like you look at a painting. Not everybody's going to see the
See it the
same
same. Hmm.
thing, even though it appears the same way to everybody. So um, the question was, what made me want to do a playlist? So the music drives it through. Sometimes it's like a literal thing. Sometimes it's a little one-liner. Um, and sometimes it is an encouragement to the John Zell that's going through that time, you know?
Okay.
Um, And then sometimes it's just to be funny. Like at the very end, it's heard about us by the Carters. And I literally wanted that on the acknowledgments because if you don't know, now you know, nigga. But
I
I
love
wanted
it.
it to be attributed to Beyonce and not to Biggie just to piss him off. Um,
Yes, yes, yes.
so, because I
I picked
started
that
with
right on
Biggie and
up.
then I ended with Beyonce referencing Biggie. So the first track is Notorious B.I.G. and the last one. But that's how I get to geek out. I get to do fun stuff with the music, and somebody might get it, they might not get it, but I get to talk about it with people like y'all. So
Yeah,
get to have a fun
I
time.
love the intentionality behind the track list because a lot of people
Hmm.
they just kind of put it together like this is the vibes, but you really really put some thought into this song, this
Hmm.
chapter. So if you guys didn't pick up, so the chapters are songs, and so if you could show one more time, it's
Yeah,
like a cassette tape, and
yeah.
it
Let me
has
turn
the
this
song on
corner.
there, and that tells you that you are going to the next chapter, which I think is it
Yeah,
just really picked up the vibes for me.
yeah,
Now, so this book actually spans your life, like essentially from birth to now.
yeah.
At what point were you like, you know what? This is a book. This is a book. I'm going to do it now. Like, did something happen, or is this just it was a good time in your life to actually sit down and write a book? Because let's not gloss over it. It's a feat to actually write a
Yes.
book. And how long did it take you to write this book?
Okay, so a couple of questions there. I guess for the span of time, the thing about a memoir is that it's not an autobiography. So
Okay.
it could have covered 1 year of my life. It could have covered the whole span of it. An autobiography is like complete, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going for complete. I was going for the evolution, which is the markers were homeroom. I used, and it's loosely based around the miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
So I used the four sections of the book are homeroom, you meet the people that are going to be here, miseducation, formative years, and then the third section is unlearning, and then the final one is graduation. So um, as I basically mapped out a timeline and the different things, I didn't really have like a focus of like, oh, I'm going to focus on my childhood or I'm going to focus on this. I just started writing.
Okay.
And what I began with and what I thought this book would be wasn't what it ended up being.
Oh,
And
really?
oh, absolutely. Like I couldn't have imagined what it would have turned into when I started writing it, because stuff happened while the book was being written.
Okay.
But what I'll say is it took me about a year and a half between when I first started writing it and when I finished and submitted it to the independent editor that I worked with. Shout out to editor Bay. I might be able to tag her here um, so that y'all can check her out. But
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
um, that there. But when I submitted it to her, it was originally like 160,000 words, which was way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I went like far and wide, just did it all, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
was okay, put all the stories down, explain them, and then because there was a price point of it needs to be this many words for what you're going to pay me to edit it, I had to get it down to like under 100,000 words. So it was,
Okay.
what am I chopping?
Oh,
Um,
what did you chop?
I would have to go back to the original drafts to, uh, and I'm gonna do that once the
That
dust
sounds like a
settles from
special
this.
edition.
Yes. So I have not looked at those original drafts since because I've been just editing and moving this through the process. But it will be cool to go back and grab what didn't make it because my plan is to this year 2026 I'm trying to write or trying to finish a children's book and a novel or novella And then after those projects are at least drafted, I want to do another memoir, but I want to do it in verse. So I want to write it in poetry. So it won't be as like wordy as like prose, but I want to capture things that aren't covered in Mixtape in poetry. Like I want to get more into my travels to Africa. I want to get obviously talk about this divorce, right? And things that it's almost like picking up where it left off, but also kind of like this book wasn't like it sometimes went forward, it sometimes went back in different places. So I want to be able to do that, but not do it the same way. I
So
don't
it's
want
like
to be fixed to a genre.
a
Yeah.
different work, a
Yeah.
different, yeah. Because if you guys didn't pick up when Johnzelle, when he started the book, him was married.
Hmm.
He finished the book, him was not married.
Yes.
Well, separated. Him was
Yes.
separated.
And the only way you
Um,
would know that is if you read through to the acknowledgments.
mm-hmm.
So you read through and you think, oh, okay. So it kind of, that's where the story ends, right? And then it's like acknowledgments. And then you
Right,
see
right. And
that
that
though our
really, that
marriage
was one of
didn't
the
work
ones,
out.
that was one of the pieces of the book where I was like, oh, he put that in there.
Hmm.
What does Rachel have to say about that? But
Yes.
I'm sure that you guys talked that through. And it's going to be whatever it is.
Yep.
All
Rachel
right.
and Maya Jane were the only names that weren't changed in the book. So those are the only real names. Yeah. And yeah, at the point that the book was, it was getting ready to get handed over to the publisher. So when the separation happened, there was no time to, nor was I going to change the name. So
Yeah, that
um,
would have took a lot of work to redo all
yeah.
of that and take
Hmm.
her out and stuff. So I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I
Whew.
think I answered the questions there. It took about a year and a half, but it took another year and a half to get to publication. So querying agents and going through that, and then signing with a hybrid publisher, and then going through their process and dealing with their delays and different things like that. So all in all, 3-year process between start to publication. Um,
Very significant, very significant.
yes,
But you have to be very proud of yourself because it's really given like you've been doing this for years, the way that the book reads to me.
thank you.
And so one of the things I wanted to ask you about was your vulnerability in the book because you touch on a lot of sensitive subjects,
Hmm.
a lot of you talk about your family, you talk about your personal life, like things that you've been through, and like you really like it's no gloss, it's like all rough. Like what gave you the courage to be that vulnerable, or is that's just how you are?
So I'm very, I would say I'm a forthcoming person, but I'm an introvert. Despite seeming like,
Okay.
to talking to people, it could be like, oh, he's very outgoing. He's kind of bold. He's the one that says the thing that everybody else is thinking, and that is true. But I think it's because as you see Johnzelle evolve through this, I got tired of being the one who shrunk, the one
Mm-hmm.
who shapeshifted or code switched or whatever to fit in. And now I'm just like, I'm here. I didn't ask to be here. I'm going to exist in the way that I need to because shrinking myself is exhausting. I'm 6'5", so um, the vulnerability, honestly, I've been through a lot of therapy. Don't trust a therapist who ain't been to a therapist. I went through like 4 therapists in the year 2023. And then I was like, well, um, I'm gonna really finish this book because it is the most therapeutic undertaking I can go through. And I believe it was track 8, Overture. That's the one where I talk about trigger warning to anyone listening, being
Yeah.
molested.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not come to full awareness or wasn't ready to tell that story or even uh, sit with it until I was in the middle of writing this book.
Oh,
And I
wow.
saw a gap in the timeline. I was like, huh. And I was on my way to a Lauryn Hill concert in DC. And I had stopped at a coffee shop, and I talk about this
Mhm.
in the book. And I'm like, huh, why don't I have any stories to tell between this year and this year? And then it like dawned on me, and I felt like I was falling through like a vortex. And
Mhm.
at the time, I was able to get a online therapy session with my therapist like the next morning at like
Oh, that's so
7 a.m. or
beautiful.
something. But um, the telling it like it was liberating. I mean, the word that
Yeah.
I come to towards the end was freedom, right? Like that's
Okay.
what going to West Africa showed me, was to focus on the word freedom.
Okay.
And uh, I freedom was not my friend Akamia Deadweiler. She was in a memoir writing workshop that I went to, and her memoir Daddy's Little Stranger is amazing. She
Hmm.
tells difficult stories, but she does it with uh, like grace and care for the people who would otherwise not be likable. And
Right.
I'm not as nice as Akamia, but
It wasn't.
I took her advice of don't go on a revenge tour.
Okay. Okay.
Say what you experienced and what you heard. Let the reader determine what to do with these people. Now, I've gotten a lot of messages and text messages and DMs and things like that, and people would be like, "I have a personal hit list going. I'm gonna need to
Yeah.
know where these people live because I got something for them." But
Yeah.
I wanted to tell what happened, and then I'm leaving it to the reader to determine what to do about it, and then I give my own perception of what did that mean to me, or what did I do about that, because at the end of the day it's a series of unreciprocated relationships. And the vulnerability isn't for the shock value.
Right.
Apparently when I speak I'm shocking anyway. Like people are just like, and I no longer have the default in me to be like, oh, shrink yourself, you're doing too much, or
Mhm.
you're going to scare people away. It's like,
So,
if you don't like me, go somewhere else, or don't read the book, or don't book another therapy session with me. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm very seasoned at people not sticking around, and it's not for like I know it's not. Oh, something's wrong with me, so they don't stick around. It's just some things are seasonal, some things are longer
absolutely.
term. So
I definitely agree with that. Would you say the trauma that you experienced as a young adult, was that the most difficult part for you to write, or was it writing about your mother? And when you called her, because you go from calling her your mother, and then there's a point in the book where
I
she,
switched to calling her Cindy. Yeah.
yes.
Um, I know very certainly the hardest chapter to write. The hardest chapter to write was "Rest in Peace, Captain Sabaho," um, and that that was the hardest one to write, and it was one of the first chapters that I wrote, mainly because the situation was fresh. Like it was
Hmm.
going on during 2023 while I was beginning to like start to put these stories together and everything. And the reason it was so difficult to write was because that experience with Zaylin was very much a younger version of myself that I was trying to give back to and mentor, and then it went so
Hmm.
long.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so
I'm so
that one
sorry.
actually was the hardest one to write, because to support him and to care about him meant almost confronting what went wrong in my own experience and not wanting the same outcomes for him, you know,
Right. Right.
and seeing that it didn't, I wasn't. well, the track title is Rest in Peace, Captain Save-A-Ho. I wasn't trying to save him, but in the end, I ended up going through something really painful that showed me that I got to be careful who I give my vulnerability to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because not
Everybody's
everybody can
ready.
hold that, and not everybody deserves it, right? So in this book, I give you my vulnerability. You get basically me busted wide open, right?
Absolutely.
But if you engage with it, my intent was to make the reader feel like, hey, we know each other. We're homies. Like, let me, the cover is literally kind of like me kind of leaning in like, hey, I got something to tell you. And because when I read memoirs, it's not about like, oh my God, the shock value of all the things that this person went through. When I read memoirs, it's a mirror. I'm seeing myself. And somebody who may have been removed from me. Like one of the, and I'm mad that I lent my book away because the person never gave it back. And if I ever see them in Walmart, it's on site. But
it's on site.
Prince Harry's book, Spare.
And
I seldom,
that was so good.
I seldom will, highlight a white person because I be reading damn near exclusively Black authors these days. But that memoir was really good, and I was like, I didn't think I would.
I wanted to know what had happened was.
Yeah, and so I was like, wow, I feel like even though he's rich and royal and all this other stuff, like the anxiety I can resonate with, and the difficult, parent situation, and being a sibling, and having a mixed race marriage, and the racism and the colorism and all this other stuff. And there was so much that I could connect with. And so as a writer creating something for the reader, I want people to feel loved, liked, and understood. By me showing my story, there's a mirror that they can look at, and they can take what applies to them. They can be shocked and, maybe even entertained by other parts. Not everything in this is for everyone, but I feel like a lot of people can relate with the thesis of unreciprocated relationships hurting because they're not sustainable, and seeking love, like, and understanding.
Yes.
That makes it universal. So that I like to think that I accomplished that through this book.
I think so. I think everyone can find at least something in the book that they can relate to. But so what we talked about the most difficult parts of the book that you wrote. But what about the things that you enjoyed? What parts were fun and you was like, oh, I can't wait to tell them about this. They're gonna love that. I like that. I want to know about the car. What's your dream car?
Oh, the punch buggy? Or okay. So that was fun because I was very dramatic with that car. I would throw it in reverse with that stick shift and spin gravels up. Like I burned rubber out of a bitch. Like I did not, you couldn't have told me nothing. Right. And, that was fun to like want something. And then like, you even see like the times where like I was saving up for a car and then got ripped off and had to start over. And, so those were fun times, like where, okay, something I set my mind to, I achieved it. Like, and even later you see like, when I named my company Panoramic Counseling, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, someday I'll have a car that has like a panoramic sunroof in it. And now I have that car, right? Like, so there's fun moments. There's the story of like, my daughter being born literally like within maybe 30 minutes of me finishing a therapy session, because it was like labor went on too long and they were like, okay, we're scheduling a C-section. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna go see a client and I know they're gonna do it. So I'll just boom, boom, go. So there's I really wanted to also take care of the reader because it can't just be trauma. It has to be,
Right. Yeah.
you have to have comic relief. You have to have endearing. You have to, you want to see love. You want to see cringe. Like the fourth grade talent show is the cringiest thing I've ever been through in my life. And as an adult, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But put the
I
cringiest
think
thing in the
everybody
book.
has those moments though in their
Yeah,
life where they're just like, oh, hope no one has any tapes of that. Remember you were
yeah,
saying that if you have tapes of that, you need to burn
burn it.
them.
Um, but that was the cringiest moment. But then, regular life things like here I'm a therapist right now. I'm not afraid to talk about any topic, but I mean, there's a scene in there where like I masturbate for the first time, and I described that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it is very much coming of age. So there's like being chased at gunpoint in the Walmart parking lot. There's masturbating for the first time. There's having a child. There's buying your first car.
Everything.
There's trauma. There's fatherlessness. There's beautiful. There's ordinary. There's enraging. There's a medley of emotions. One person described it as like literary whiplash.
Okay. I can see
And
that.
yeah,
Because
so.
I definitely was like, oh, oh, oh. And as a boy mom myself, I have two sons. It really had, I was like looking in a different lens because I'm a girl, like, I'm a
Mhm.
mom. But to read your story, it really had me looking at their lives through different lenses. And if you are, I just want to remind everybody, if you are just joining us, we are talking Mixtape, a memoir. And you're going to want to stay because we are continuing to get into the healing identity. And we're going to talk about what's next for Johnzelle before we hop off here. Now, one thing that I wanted to make sure we talked about, closure is a myth.
Mm.
Where did that come from? How did because I love it. I love it
Mhm.
first of all, but talk to us more about that.
That came from me being a therapist. So I tell
Okay.
people closure is a myth, and so is being normal. You're like, oh, I just
Mm.
want to be normal, or I just want to feel normal, or I just want to, talk with my ex one more time so I can have closure. You're not getting closure. There's no closure to a
Why do we
wound.
want to do it then? Why do we want to do it so bad?
I think it goes back to like what I was talking about. The We're wired as humans to need other people. We need connection.
Mm-hmm.
We were wired that way. So we think, oh, closure is going to somehow make us have peace with the loss of connection, whether it's closure because a chapter has ended in life, like you graduated, or closure because you broke up with this person. You want to have just one more conversation with them and then you'll be okay. Or they died and you want to have closure, or a person died, so you want to have closure and somehow overcome. And the thing is, none of these things can be closed because grief doesn't go away. It changes form.
Okay.
Um, it's like I like the metaphor like sea glass. Like it starts off like a broken piece of glass bottle. Over time, it tumbles around. It's smooth, but it
But it's still
still
glass.
has weight. It's still there. We're not closing off uh, something that happened. We don't forget. We don't get over. We get through. And so when people are like, oh, well, I just need some closure or whatever, what really, when we seek closure, we're not ready to accept that the connection is being changed or being severed. Whether it's an object, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a person,
Okay.
etc. So closure is a myth because you're never going to find a neat way to do that. You're still going to have pain and fragments left behind that don't make sense until you accept it.
I'm so glad I asked you that question because I didn't. That's not what I thought you were
Mm-hmm.
going to say.
What did
How
you
did
think
this?
I meant?
I thought you were just going to say something quirky like cuss some people out and go to bed or cut them off at the head. Don't worry about them
Well,
type stuff.
sometimes
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
do that too.
I think we need to do more of that. Just leave, cut some people out and go to bed.
Yeah.
How did writing this book impact your healing journey?
I think a lot of it was the product of acceptance.
Mm,
Um, so healing that I had been doing, especially like through my 20s. Um, and, but then I mean, literally, like when I say the Captain Savaho chapter, when I tell you I was crying through that, like I remember when I went to the memoir writing workshop, and I was like, I'm going to write the most difficult chapter because this thing just happened, and I'm just going to get it out of the way while I'm here, right? And um, like I'm in front, like it was a select amount of people from around the country that got to go to this workshop, and I'm like breaking down, crying, like sharing my scenes and stuff like that. And they are too. They're doing their own stuff, but I'm just
okay.
like, I don't know these people. But it was it was healing because I was being brave enough to face it.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are not, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but a lot of people, and I notice this as a therapist, a lot of people can't sit with themselves. They're constantly on a phone, they're constantly looking at something, they're constantly doing something, they're constantly smoking something, they're constantly, whatever, to not feel
Presence.
human, to not sit with yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
when you slow down and you feel and you are brave enough to explore that, that is where you can heal. Because when you're running, it's waiting for you when you run out of steam, right? So um, the healing came from putting it all there, but then the real almost like test was you can't imagine how many times I've read this book to edit it to because I don't trust. I mean, yes, I had a great uh, you know, uh, Ashley Mustafa was amazing editor, but only like if my name is on it, I'm only going to trust putting my eyes on it before it goes out. And then when I worked with editors from the publisher, they were like, "Oh, well, now that the editor, you could just kind of approve the edits," and I was like, I'm reading it from beginning to end."
Reading it
And
again.
when I did that, I caught things that they didn't catch, and even when I was like, uh, in the very last stages, two mistakes made it into the final book, but they're so incredibly small and subtle that you wouldn't recognize them unless I
I
told
didn't
you.
see anything.
Um, but going through it so many times also not numbed me to it because it's still real. Like even when I read the audiobook, like to go to the studio to record the audiobook, the
Oh, you recording your own? You recorded your own audiobook. That
Mhm.
okay? Yes, I love
Yeah.
that.
So like even that, like the parts where, especially the part where I'm at Liberty University in grad school, it was
Mm-hmm.
very clear to the sound engineer that we were ahead of schedule. It was 4 days. We were ahead of schedule the first 2 days, and when we hit that era of me being in grad school, it slowed. Like me getting
Mm,
through that because that was like the
traumatic.
worst. Yeah, and it was like shit, I might be behind now, like because I was doing it, but then once I get through that time it picks up and it moved and we finished on time.
Okay.
So it's kind of like even though I've been through this however many times through revising it and editing it and all this other stuff, I'm not numb to my own story, which is good because I don't want to be numb to my own story. I
Right.
don't want to
Yeah.
be like, oh well, I wrote a book, I'm over it. Like no, this is me in literary form. But the healing is the bravery to face it over and over again. And hopefully, by doing that with my own story, other people can see, like, especially Black men,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there are experiences here that you don't really hear Black men talk about. Even as a therapist, like, um, men will maybe in therapy with me for years and then it lets it slip at some point like they were molested or something. I'm like, what was
Whoa.
that?
Rewind.
I'm like, so
Yeah.
I've known you for 4 years and you're just now getting to this, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and it's almost like uh, men don't talk about um, those sorts of things because of fear, especially black men, fear of, well, how will someone perceive you?
Mm-hmm.
Um, whether, or uh, with talking about like your sexuality or talking about, being abused growing up, or even like in my marriage, you see the part where I was, physically assaulted in my marriage, right? Like
Yes. Yes.
men don't really talk about that dynamic of, you hear about husbands beating on their wives. You don't really hear about the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
You may not always get to see the dynamic of like, well, what is it like with a black husband and a white wife in the middle of like the powder keg that was 2020 in the United States during the pandemic, right? And everything that was going on. How does that land? So I was able to share my story, but it also shows the story of what is going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
And again, memoir is my favorite genre because you can feel something different either by reading it multiple times, or each person is going to have a different access point to the stories. And like what you got from Prince Harry's Spare is going to be different from what I got from it. And so, yeah, I, I've been, it's been cool to see how even people reading my story, it has encouraged them to like open up about, you never really know what something's going to resonate with somebody. And then you're just like, oh yeah, like I remember when, TLC was doing a concert at this, or, they see something about my story and then it sparks a conversation, and it's the nostalgia too of like the 90s and the 2000s and all this stuff. So that's another fun thing about a mixtape, is that you can get nostalgic with it. So it's been a fun project for sure.
Because what are some things that you think that women can do to help foster that? Because you talked about how males, especially black males, they have this difficult time opening up and sharing things and being vulnerable. We have a couple of ladies in the chat. Myself, I'm a boy mom, I'm married. So what would you suggest we do more of to foster that, them opening up more?
It's generational work. I wish I
Mm-hmm.
had a a concise answer, because I think about answering the question and I'm like, nope, it's going to be inadequate. Well, we're speaking of black men
Yeah.
in particular. You can't negate the fact that hundreds of years of a um, being behind, uh, and while the systems around us were not intended for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, But then I don't believe in using that as a complete scapegoat, but it is part of the story.
Definitely.
And so, but even in our community, being a vulnerable black man is not always safe because us, will police each other about how you can be a man, right? So there's so many, it's almost that kind of like, well, what are people going to think of me? What am I? What do I need to portray? Whether it's to protect myself, whether it's to express myself, whether it's to have opportunities. There's so many different mental gymnastics going on to just exist. So when you talk about like, well, how do we get black men to open up? There's not a clean answer. I can't say go to therapy. I
Yeah.
can't say uh, tap into your community. I can't say read. I mean, do those things, sure, but know. no answer I can give is adequate to that, because it probably comes back to what I said earlier about like a lot of people are afraid because the silence of sitting with yourself can be excruciatingly loud. And oftentimes we're not, we're not, we don't have access to the tools or the safe places to land when we're not okay.
Mm.
Um, even my kind of full circle moment of like being like, oh, I should probably talk about what happened to me when I was 5, right? I was 30, 31, and my brain had to protect me all those years because there was never a safe place for that to be explored until it was time for me to explore it. Um, and so
Yeah.
there's no one size fits all for that, unfortunately. Um, Being
I
human is a constant evolution.
I get it. I get it. But don't you stop trying, ladies. We
Mm-mm.
gotta keep supporting our black men and making sure they feel heard and seen, and creating that soft space so that they can open up when they're ready. But just making sure that it's a soft space to land. Now,
Encourage them that being man enough or being a man isn't being stoic. I said
okay,
that in
yes.
the final letter. I said, don't waste your time trying to be stoic. Um, you do give a fuck. Like that, I can't, I'm bisexual. So once I got separated, I started dating, black men.
Hmm.
And I can't stand a stoic black man. Get away from me. Because it pisses me off. It pisses me off. When you're stoic, you're basically not being genuine.
Hmm.
And I imagine this is what women go through when they date men too. Is like if the guy is being stoic, they want you to be like either accepted or to just kind of accept like that wall there, and it pisses me off. I'm like, if I'm man enough to feel emotions and talk about it and whatever, and you're sitting over here being stoic and like I can't see that something's bothering you, stop that. So women, if you're looking for something to encourage black men to open up, let them know that being stoic ain't sexy. It pisses you off, because I sure enough told them.
Gotta tell them more, ladies. Can't let
Yep.
them get past it.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, you alluded to it earlier today, but so you do have some things, you're working on some things
Mhm.
now.
Yep.
Wow. Are you able to, give us a little something
Yes.
what you're working
So
on?
I'm not going to give the title because it could very well change, but I'm
Absolutely.
writing a children's book about it's about minimalism. So
Okay.
it centers my daughter Maya Jane, and she has one parent that's a minimalist, which is me, and she has another parent that is not a minimalist who buys a bunch of stuff and has excess, right? And then the child is figuring out, well, who am I going to be like? But then uh, another challenge that happens is the parents split up, and then the child is like, "Is this my fault because I can't figure out
Mm.
what I am? Am I a minimalist? Am I not?" And obviously, it's a bigger lesson about it's about minimalism, but it's also going to show like what happens when a family splits apart, and you always center a child in a story like that. So how does the child make it out on the other side? What lessons does she learn? I'm working on I don't know the length of it yet, but it'll either be a novella or a novel, which is more so exploring like black bisexuality.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it'll be spicy enough to be like a whole smut, but uh,
Nonfiction. I mean, no, it's fiction.
it's fiction. Yeah, it'll be a
Okay.
novel. So working on that, seeing how that goes. So I want the children's book and that draft of the novel to hopefully be closer to completion by the end of this year, and then I want to get more into that memoir and verse that I was talking about. So
Ooh, okay.
there's
Okay.
3 projects at various stages in my head or on my computer that I'm working on.
Now, in the memoir verse, is that when you're going to get into what happened with Rachel?
Yes. So that's going to be, I know the title of that one. It's going to be called Halfrican. Um,
Oh,
like half
African.
African. Yeah, Halfrican.
Oh,
So
okay.
I want to talk more about all these trips I've taken to West Africa, but I also, uh, I want to, and I like poetry because you can say a lot with fewer words. Um, but also, I think that doing that will be very healing for
Mm-hmm.
me. The mixtape of memoir was it was I think tame and sensitive, given that when the story ends, it is you think, or at least I thought
They
that
just
there
together.
was a relationship, right? But in the aftermath of that, it's not, again, like I said earlier, it's not to go on a revenge tour, but things were said and things were done that were fucked up. And
Mm.
um, if you didn't want to be written about, you should have behaved better. So we gonna get into
Hey,
it.
hey. Now, okay, so where are you? What do you have going on next? Like, are you out here in these bookish streets? Are you doing any events? I know that with the book coming out, you have the big opening, and then you kind of
Mhm.
like, does it calm down, or are you still like up, down, up, down?
So I'm don't know the answer to that question. I know that March has been busy. Um, I anytime I see something like a book festival or I really want to. I like the idea of focusing on like spaces that like focus on Black storytellers,
Okay.
but I like depending on the vibe or the opportunities like indie bookstores and things like that, or just community events and things like that where there's like vendor opportunities and stuff. So I've been kind of piecing together opportunities as I go.
Okay.
And I've been really surprised with when I got on Instagram to just share my love of Black books. Like I would just do book reviews just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And what really was exciting and surprising and comforting was that when it was my turn to debut or to put my book out in the world, a lot of the people that I supported kind of casually through sharing quotes from their books or telling people like, hey, you got to read this, they turned around and they were like, Johnzelle, talk to so and so, or this festival is coming up, get you a vendor spot there that will help you, or talk to this book influencer, they can put you on. Um, and what I'm seeing is that there's strength in the Black literary community.
Absolutely.
There's a shine for all of us. It's not it's not as limited as mainstream publishing would have you believe because
Mm-hmm.
they pick their token people to be promoted and then the rest of us are figuring it out because
Fend for yourself.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing about us is that our strength is in us. So when we don't gatekeep and we support each other, not expecting anything in return, like I didn't expect anything in return when I put a book review up. Like I'm gonna do it anyway, even though I have a book to promote. I'm like, I read this book, I like this book. Let me tell you about how I like this book, right? And but for it to turn around and someone to be like, you support me, I want to support you, and you never know what someone's support can do to get you um, seen or a door open for you. So
Absolutely.
I've
That is
been
one of the
very
things I love
embracing that,
about
so it's very nice.
this community. We are very supportive and, just trying to do the best we can, right?
Hmm.
Now, I did see that you just did a review on 901 by LB Gaines. Is
109.
that the last book that you've written? I mean, that you've read?
I
Okay.
am. I think I have like 10 more pages. of this book. So this is the most recent book that I've read. I'm also reading "Live Through This" by Clay Kane, um,
Oh, okay.
and
He's the one
that's
with Burn Master's House
Burned Down
down?
Master's House. Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
um, and I'm also reading darn, I think it's called Black Single Mom or Mother.
I know what you're talking about. It's a black cover. It's got like flowers on it.
Yeah. So I got
Okay.
that one on audiobook. So I'll sometimes have two, three, four books going at the same time. So
Oh,
different vibes. So yeah, those are the ones I'm working through right now. But I'm finishing 1:09 a.m. Before I go to bed tonight because I'm.
oh, that's gonna be a treat.
It's listen, they're getting it in. They are getting it in. So
LB Gaines
um,
is nasty.
she is filthy, yes. And I what I'll say is LB Gaines, it's funny because like I read her books and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. And then here I got, I got separated and then I got out here and started dating again. And I was like,
Yeah, you need them
and
books.
I got on to LB Gaines's DMs. I was like, ma'am, I fucked this man 6 times in 6 hours because I just finished reading uh what's that book that she has?
Um,
Room 214 San Juan. I said, I had just finished reading that. I said, not me out here
yes.
unleashing my
Yes.
freak because, so the stories you read about sometimes be like, maybe I got a little some of that in me and I might
Got
like
a little
it.
something,
So,
got a little something back
yeah,
there. Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
Now, where can we purchase the book?
So it is widely distributed. So I'll say the easiest way, if you're trying to go to one place, would be myname.co. So johnzelle.co, Johnzelle.co, not com, co. And on there, you'll see I have links to the different places you get the audiobook, the different places you can get the print. It comes in paperback, hardback, ebook, and I also have a link on there if you want a signed paperback. You can click it and then I ship it directly to you and sign it to you. So that's probably the landing place where you can find, a variety of
Okay.
places you can get it. But if you want to go on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org, it's there as well. So, but all of those links are available at johnzelle.co as well.
Okay, okay. Now, do we have some time for a quick rapid fire?
Of course,
Okay. Coffee or tea?
coffee,
Hmm. Are you a morning writer or a late night writer?
morning.
Morning. Okay. What song instantly puts you in a good mood? I know it's hard. Like, what's your favorite Beyonce album? I know.
Okay, favorite Beyonce album, Lion King: The Gift.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's a slept on one. Okay, okay. If your life had a book title right now, what would it be?
African.
Okay, yep, great plug. What is your go-to comfort show? Do you watch TV?
Seldom. My go-to comfort show is Ugly Betty, and I talk about that in
Oh,
the book. Yeah.
okay, okay. What is one thing the readers would be surprised to learn about you?
What would they be the most surprised to learn about me?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. You said rapid fire, but
It's like I feel like you're trying to think of a you don't want to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
no, I'm trying to think of the first thing that comes to my mind. Okay, something they may not know about me. Uh, I love disco music,
Oh,
disco
okay,
and funk.
okay. Let's see. Favorite snack?
That's like asking me to pick a favorite song.
Really? So you're a snacker.
Mm, I'm not really a snacker. Um, I love sweets. So, let's say like cakes, cookies, pie, baked goods.
Okay. I like that too. At certain times. What about your favorite drink? This would be alcoholic or
Long
non-alcoholic.
Island iced tea.
Just get right to it. Okay, I
Hmm.
hear you. Okay, what is if you could no, let me see. Your favorite place to escape when you're not writing.
I escape when I'm not writing. A book.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid. And
Earth is
lastly,
ghetto.
oh yeah,
Earth is
Earth is
ghetto.
ghetto.
That's how I read so
Yeah,
many books. I don't want to be here.
it's very ghetto, very ghetto. What's the next big dream or goal on your list? It could be personal or it could be professional.
Um, Honestly, I am grateful to say that at 33, I've accomplished everything that I've imagined when I was the young, traumatized Johnzelle. So there's nothing that I imagine for myself that I haven't already achieved. But if I want to say what I will say is going to happen is I will be completely debt free by the time I'm 37. My
Ooh, now
house, my
that
student loans, my car, um, as long as nothing goes terribly wrong, I will be debt free in a few years. Um, I like the idea. I mean, I love being a therapist. I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon, but I like the idea of also uh, writing my books and meeting people who read my stories and continuing what I'm doing like with Mixtape and writing my other books because stories matter.
mm-hmm.
Um, it I it would like dream life would be to literally just write stories and read stories and be able to sustain myself on that. Um, but I'm also cool on having a day job because I'm good at it. So, um, yeah, just um, telling our stories or creating things also is proof that we exist. And when I said Earth is ghetto, like it's really hard. Uh, I mean, I haven't met a person who's like, you know what, I'm doing really good. Like I feel good right now. I haven't met a person who said some of that nonsense in a very long time. So people are suffering. So, but us telling our stories and supporting each other and building community is what feels like hope to me. So doing that is not just an indulgence, but it is essential. Like if I didn't have books, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
If I didn't have the ability to express um, things, I wouldn't be as healthy as I am right now. So we need each other, we need community, and we need these stories. So engaging in these things is what my dream is to just keep doing this
Okay.
as a therapist, as a
Okay. Well,
storyteller.
absolutely. Well, Johnzelle, I want to thank you for stepping into the release room tonight. Mixtape, a memoir, is now available. So if you go to johnzelle.co, you can see the links where you can purchase this book. To everyone that's watching, if you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure you are following both of us. Follow me on YouTube at She Read That, as well as Instagram She Read That, for more book recs, wrap ups, and what I'm reading next. This video will be, I'm going to have it up on my Instagram for a replay, and I'll be sure to include the links that you mentioned here tonight, as well as I'll send it to you, of course. All
Thank
right.
you so
So
much.
have a good night, Johnzelle. I hope to see you soon. Okay.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone for
You're
watching.
welcome.
All right, take
Absolutely.
care.
Bye.
Bye.